now, three major earthquakes of the magnitude around 7.8 struck Turkey and Syria on Monday, killing more than 2,300 people as buildings have collapsed like houses of cards, triggering a search for survivors trapped in the rubble. Let's go across to Heather Murdoch, who is the VOA correspondent joining us from Turkey, from Istanbul. Heather, it's now been 12 hours. Night has set in Turkey. People are having to figure out how to spend the night, people who've lost their homes. What's the latest? What's the situation on the ground right now in Turkey?
Well, as you said, it is nighttime now. It is quite cold, and the death toll has been rising steadily throughout the day. Early this morning, they had only recovered a couple of hundred bodies in here and in northern Syria. But now it's, as you said, more than 2,300 people and still climbing. It is not known at this point how many people are still missing. We spoke to some rescue workers who say right now they are just in crisis mode. They're just trying to work as fast as possible to get as many people out as possible. But besides the bad weather and the increasing, which is expected to get worse, this area is also one of the highest per capita refugees or displaced people in the world. So there is not only a lot of vulnerable people, but there's also a lot of poverty, especially in northern Syria, which has also been suffering from war for 12 years. And so a lot of the buildings were never meant to stand up to this kind of shock. So digging people out of the rubble is a massive region-wide effort that will go on throughout the night, I'm sure, regardless of how cold it gets, because time is not on their side. Things are expected to get worse before they get better.
Well, an absolute uphill task, battling the horrific weather conditions that we're seeing across Europe also. But Heather, in terms of whether we're expecting more aftershocks, because in the past 24 hours, we've seen 3 earthquakes. Has that been ruled out, or are rescue operators working while there's a fear that there could be more?
There's certainly a fear that there could be more. I don't know of any experts that have weighed in to say we can rule this out at this point. And because after the morning's earthquake, which was so huge, 7.8 around 4 a.m., people were, trying to rescue people from under buildings, and it didn't even occur to anybody, I think, that this was just the beginning of what turned into a horrific day. So, of course, we're hoping that it's that this is the end of this for this time, but of course, everyone is also scared.